But to kind of put a bow on our Blazer Media Day kind of situation, I want to slide over into Joe Cronin. I've been on the record. I'm not a Joe Cronin hater by any means. I think what he's done with the squad has been quite great from a GM perspective, especially your first time being a GM. But there is kind of these statements that always make me kind of go, why do you say it that way? And I'll read you this quote. The goal is to compete every night. Do we want to make the play-in? Yes. Do we want to make the playoffs? Yes. Do we want to win a 16 playoff games? Yes, he said. I don't have expectations, and I won't be disappointed if those things don't happen as long as we're continually growing. Because I read that as if we don't make the playoffs, I'm okay with that. And while that might be the reality of where this Blazer team is, I don't like that mindset being said out loud. So that is where I'll push back on it. Do I think this team is a playoff team? Absolutely not.
What
but
is
I
it
don't
about that
wanna
mindset that you don't like?
Because it's a little, I think it's a little like, yeah, we know we're not going to. And I think we're just so bred in sports to be always told, like, at the beginning of the season, we got a chance. Like, let's push for this one game at a time. Let's go for the division. If we can't get the division, let's go for a first round bye, et cetera, et cetera. And to kind of say, I'm okay if we don't make the playoffs, I just think that sets a bad tone.
I don't think he said that they were okay if they don't make the playoffs in that sense. I
But
think
that comes across to me like that, though.
I get what you're saying. I 100% get what you're saying in that regard. But my take on that was the previous press conference, not the Dame one, when him and Chauncey both got their contract extensions, they said it's winning time. Because that's what you do when you sign a contract. You get up there and you kind of toot your horn. And I said it then. I'm like, they don't actually believe that. And I spent this whole summer and,
then they shouldn't say it.
Yeah, I know. And that's what
that's what I'm saying.
But so they shouldn't say it then, but they should say it now, and they shouldn't say it now, but they should have said that. That's what I mean. Like,
no, I don't think you ever say it.
Well, you just said that they should.
I think his point though is that they're talking out of both sides of their mouth.
Yes,
in terms of expectations.
No, I agree, but I also believe that where they actually are is what he said yesterday. I think that is actually where they are.
I think I'm confused as to what you're trying to say here.
I think where they got it wrong was when they set the winning time, because it's not. It's not.
Like we're gonna go so all in it hurts.
Yeah, and
that has not aged well.
No.
That has not aged well at all.
And it's I heard the guys this morning. It was the Neil O'Shea, Al Farouk Aminu. There were 53 wins when he's at the 4 kind of thing. And the Neil O'Shea is of it all. And it's a dumb thing to say. You do not put rails around this unless you know what you're capable of outside of injury. And that's the thing is, I don't think they know what they're capable of. And now the Scoot Henderson stuff, I don't think that necessarily changed the outcome of the season drastically.
But why can't you say things like, I don't know what the sky is for this team, but we feel the sky could be the limit. To say that I'm not worried about not making the playoffs, I think it just sends a bad vibe. It's a glass half empty perspective.
I don't think it's a glass half empty. That's where we disagree. I think it's a realistic perspective, because if you go out there and tell me that the sky is the limit, then I'm like, oh, there's something behind the scenes. It's really
or maybe not that, or I don't know how good this team can be. But don't say I know that. If they aren't good, I'm okay with that.
But here's the thing.
Because nobody should be okay with their team sucking. Even if you're a Carolina Panther fan, you should not be excited or happy that your team sucks.
But the reality of it all is now, especially when you take a look at analytics and all the data that's out there, what team in any sport has just, like, Leicester City is like the one in the Premier League where they were a 5,000 to 1 odds and they win a title. The Pacers this past year were a team that, hey, they were pretty good last year, and then they kind of faltered and they had some injuries, and then they make this magical run. But these are exceptions, not rules.
But I think you should always be rooting for those exceptions for your team, because when it is your team, it's amazing.
The Pacers did not come out and say that they were going to go to the NBA Finals.
But they also didn't say that not making the playoffs was an okay thing.
They also have a lot more on their team in Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton and proven players. The Blazers' proven players right now are Drew Holiday, Damian Lillard, who's on the shelf, and Denny Avdia.
I think Jeremy Grant is a proven player.
I said Denny. I meant to say Jeremy, but it's Drew, it's Jeremy, it's Denny.
Those are the vets.
And Dame. And Dame's not playing. And you could probably put Tumani on that after making all defense. Beyond that, Donovan's moving into a starting role. He's probably gonna be pretty good. But
he's my excitement for the year.
Yeah.
He's the guy I'm gonna watch night in, night out. Maybe not every
night. When we came in, we did our swap with Dirt. I was listening to them when they were talking about this, and he was like, "How can this team be better when the same amount of games?" And I'm like, honestly, it's pretty easy. They
Well,
do-
I'll
just-
push back on that a little bit. There are things you can see that make you better, even if they aren't in the win column.
but
There's progress you can see.
But here's the thing: they sucked unabashedly. They were god awful the first 2 months of the season.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't suck for the first 2 months of the season, they can still win the same amount of games. And Dirt's pushback was, well, then what about the second half of the season? They won. Like I go, it's just going to be more consistent. That's all it is. You can still win 36 games and win 18 in the front half and 18 in the back half and not have the wild swings.
Or you can win 36 in a row and then lose the rest of your games. I see what you're saying.
But my point is, I don't want to see it like everybody keeps making fun of like in the final 41 games, like that's some small sample size. It's half the freaking season.
What happens if this team loses more games?
Well, what's the context? Are guys injured?
No. Guys aren't injured.
It's
this roster.
If they just go out there and they suck, then it's a failure. And that's exactly
normal injuries,
if they go
like
out there
little things here and there.
They win 30 games, it's a problem.
Yeah.
That's when you start rolling up your sleeves and going, okay, what the hell's going on? But that also comes back to my line of questioning yesterday. I very 10 toes down as it pertains to the Blazers defense. My questions are about the offense and what that looks like because they don't have a Tyrese Halliburton. They don't have a Pascal Siakam. They don't have a bell cow, and they're going to attack this in a way that's very different. And
you're going to have to.
Yes, and that need is going to drive what they are. And so I look at this and I go, okay, let's see what this looks like. I'm not saying wins and losses don't matter because that's the Wizards, that's the Jazz, that's the Hornets, that's the Pelicans. Hell, that might be the Suns. You know what I mean? Like, that's different. But I look at the West and I go, okay, how many teams are they truly better than? They're better than the Jazz.
Yep.
They're better than the Suns.
Better than the Pelicans.
They're better than the Pelicans. They're better than the Kings.
I think
that's 11th.
I think the only thing you could say, though, about maybe the Suns is that on any given night, Devin Booker could take over and
sure,
end
but the
your
rest
life.
of that team is ugh.
Oh, I definitely agree with that.
Like, honestly, would you rather have the Suns roster with Booker, or would you rather have the Blazers roster?
Oh, I'd rather have the Blazers, but I mean, it's just like, would you rather be in 11th place or 12th place? Like, I don't
Which
know.
is exactly what happened last year.
They both suck.
They finished with the same record, and the coin toss decided where they ended up. So I can see a world where they win 36 games and they're better. But also, the volatility of the NBA, average point differential in a win or a loss is 5 points on any given night across the NBA, right? That's a coin toss.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between 36 wins and 41 wins is luck. It's luck. Does a shot go in? Does a ball, do you save it from going out of bounds? Do you hit a free throw? Does a ball rim in instead of rim out on a three? Like, there's just so many things that happens over the course of 48 minutes that the 5-win window can move either way. Now, you're going to have some things that are distorting those polls, like when the Jazz are just an egregious level of suck and the Thunder are an egregious level of good. But for the majority of teams in the NBA, that's just what you're looking at. I keep saying I think they're going to win the same amount of games, but I'm using that with a threshold of, plus 2.5 games either way.
Sure.
So could they win 39, 40 games? Yeah. And I know 36 to 40 is 4 games. I'm not stupid. I'm saying,
you idiot.
What if your polls are 2.5 each way, but the rails are kind of 5 each way. They could win 31 games or they could win 41 games. Like those are both on the table. However, your frame of how you get there matters. Mm-hmm. We talk about this in football all the time. We just talked about this with the 49ers. They're 3-1. They aren't what their record says they are.
No.
Nobody believes them. If you have a fraudulent 30 or 41 win season and you're going, yeah, they won 41, but man, they made a lot of hay at the back end of the season.
I think that's a little apples and oranges.
How so?
Because I think because of how long the NBA season is and how many games you play.
But that's why you get more.
Even though that was 4 or 5 games better, then that does say that you are better.
I don't agree at all. Because I think you can say that about, if you go look at all of the teams that have been like play-in teams, like the Heat or the Bulls in the East who continually find themselves in the 9-10 seed. Mm-hmm. Look at their wins. The Hawks
purgatory of mediocrity,
and it's like it can swing depending on conference records. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like how good a conference is or isn't. So But here's the thing: if they go out there and they win 29 games and there aren't injuries, that's a major problem.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
You know what I mean? Like
Heads are gonna roll
if they
on
win
that.
32 games and if they don't have injuries, it's going to be a major problem.